Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up now. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up now.
Hey everybody, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful evening. Wonderful hump. Was it hump day? Yeah, it is hump day. It's the 14th of May. 14th of May. When's summer going to be here? Just kidding. It was actually pretty nice here today. Wasn't too bad. It kind of rained and then it got kind of nice because it was kind of humid, but let me know if the weather's warmed up where you are or if you're still wearing sweaters like me. But welcome to the channel. If you're new here, if you're not new, welcome back to the channel. I do appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me for a couple hours each evening. So we'll get into tonight's live. My name is Tanya or TitaniumBuilt if you're new. And we are fast approaching 20,000 subscribers. We may actually hit it tonight or tomorrow. I think we need 26 more when I checked. I've been checking. I've been trying not to check that much, but your girl's excited. It's a big accomplishment. So welcome everybody in. Hopefully you guys are having a great hump day. Ladybug's here. I thought you said you were in the hospital for a minute. I was like, Kathy, I refuse to be in the hospital. They didn't give me the opportunity to they didn't give me the chance. They were like, you're going. But that was a car accident. Hey, Willows. But I am the kind of person that will break their leg and walk out of the hospital and say, I'll deal with this tomorrow. I've done that. Hey, Catherine. Oh, spending time with my daughter and her boyfriend's family. Oh, they lost his son brother today in a car accident. Oh my gosh. Oh no. We'll tell them we're so sorry, Catherine. I know family is very important to you. Hey, Mia Moore. Man, that made me feel so bad. I hope that everybody's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, We'll be okay. Hey, Naomi, welcome in. Hey, Ryan. Dawn, Lucia's here. Baby girl. DM. No, I didn't forget about you guys. My camera wasn't working. It like wouldn't turn on. So I had to get Vincent. And so I was like, crap. Like I was trying to do it, like fix it myself. And all I had to do was unplug it and plug it back in. Just a simple reset, you know. Hey, get to the ducking point. Hello, welcome in. Yeah, I did cover that. Yeah. Hey, Courtney. Sorry, I was a little late. Hey, Princess. Hey, Robin. I usually come in at 9:15. I had to switch it to 9:25 because dinner ran late. And then I, of course, have, of course, one thing goes and then everything goes. So I think I said hey to DM and I think I said hey to Princess, but welcome in. And Robin V. But yeah, so then my camera wasn't working and I'm like, are you kidding? I was like, really, really, really? So, but I'm here and I'm here to talk. Hey, Lord Mama. And I'm almost to the end too. Hey, Betsy. Hey, Marjorie. Hey, Trixie. Welcome in. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Crafty One. Well, look at everybody in here. Hey, Lisa. Nicole. I love seeing new people in the chat. I love it. I love it more than you know. I love my peeps though, but you know what I mean. We love to have some new people come in. Oh, Nicole, thanks. Hey, is she? Oh, I'm working on something and just walked in the door. Ooh. It's probably a present for me. I'm just kidding. Is she? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Hey, Felicia. Hey, KCG. Family is everything. First live. Oh, I'm excited that you're here. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Lauren. I was about Lenore Bach called you Loretta. We don't even have a Loretta. Mary Beth, thank you so much for gifting 20 memberships. Wow, I don't know who got them, but I see now. Miriam, Southern Mom, Rain King Tyler, my three sons, Combat Vet, Samantha, Susan, AZ, Crystal, Women Are Scarce. If I miss, I think I might. Oh yeah, Ida, I missed some people. Miss T, Monet, Reese, Miss 101, Reba, everybody that got a membership. Welcome on in. And thank you, Mary Beth. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. And I still don't know who Loretta is. Loretta. I don't even, Loretta Lynn. Was that her name? That's the only Loretta I know. But welcome on in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Can't keep your eyes open tonight. Oh, sleepy. We'll put you to sleep. We'll put you to sleep. I was watching a creator review another creator today, and it wasn't the creator that was putting me to sleep. It was the person she was reviewing. I was just like, I'm gonna go to sleep if I watch this. I was gonna fall asleep on her, so I didn't want to do that. But first thing I'm gonna pull up tonight, we do have a new document. It's nothing huge, but we'll go over it. It's something that I'm gonna grab my glasses. It's something that we have went over, I think, before whenever they went to court, but it's been a long time. And I think it was with Judge John Judge whenever they first started going into his courtroom. So I don't know if it's like they're getting everything ready and spiced up for trial or what, but I'm here for it. So we'll read through this document. I'm just cleaning off my glasses a little bit. And Mary Beth did it again. Oh my gosh, Mary Beth, that's a lot of memberships, girl. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, Nash Native. I won't welcome everybody else. Well, yeah, I will. Jana, Bridget, Lori, Tennessee, Brown Eyes, AJ Life Jacket, Cher, Emerald. If I say it wrong, I'm sorry. Oh, and I think that might be like Jody. I don't know. It looks like Deja Vu, but that's not what it is. Now I missed my spot. Oh, True Crime and Other Stuff. God like TG. Thank you. No. Sophia Grace, Capella, LH, Michelle. I think I got everybody. Those are everybody that received a membership. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. That's so kind of you. Mary Beth is on it. She's going to have everybody green in here tonight. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. That's very kind of you. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. And I was just thinking right before you put the memberships in, I was thinking Mary Beth is probably not in chat because she's making peanut butter sandwiches for somebody. Like, you know what I mean? Like doing something kind, because that's what you do. You're a kind soul. Oh, I appreciate it. Hey, True Crime Lullabies. Hey, Jessa J. Okay, so welcome in, everybody. I'll go ahead and I'll get started. That's a lot of memberships, Mary Beth. That's humbling, very humbling. Thank you so much. I appreciate that more than you know. So there is this amended order governing courtroom conduct. So I figured we'd go through it. There's a reason why they're putting it out, you know, so we'll see what they have to say. But I know that Brian Enton will be there tomorrow, and I will also be streaming. So, but everything, before we get started, everything we talk about is alleged when it comes to Bryan Kohberger, you know, and his guilt or innocence. He is in jail awaiting trial for the murders of 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. He is presumed innocent until, you know, proven guilty in a court of law. Oh, my dogs just came in. I don't know if you could hear them running in. But okay, so tonight we're going to talk about the Idaho 4. Brian has a court hearing scheduled tomorrow at 9 a.m. Their time. So it's 11 a.m. Yeah, 11 a.m. our time, Eastern Standard. So I'm on the East Coast. So I'll have the live set up. Tonight I'll make the thumbnail and I'll have it set up for you guys. And then that way you can go over to that live. I should have had it set up right now so I could redirect you, but I don't know how to do that. But I wouldn't want to redirect you guys tonight. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? You'd be over there waiting for a while. So, hey, Roxanne, welcome in. It's been a while. I don't know why I said wow like that. I do have an accent. I can hear it sometimes. So, to provide for the orderly disposition of this case, this order shall govern the conduct of the public and media in the Ada County Courthouse for the entirety of this case, including the jury trial, and supersedes any prior courtroom conduct orders in this case. Okay. The court is mindful of the need to balance, 1, the constitutional rights of the defendant, 2, the public's interest and right to information in conjunction with certain constitutional and statutory rights for the public to attend the proceedings, 3, the court's interest in maintaining order for an environment which permits all participants to focus on their responsibilities without undue distractions, and the court's interest in the safety of the public and the court and security personnel. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry. Oh, man. I'll look when I'm done. Okay. My tooth is bothering me. I'm getting sorry. I'm getting nervous. Thank you, Chatty, for being a member for 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome on in. Okay, so we'll just keep reading. With these factors in mind, pursuant to Idaho Code Administrative Rules, ICR 45 and 49, and the inherent powers of the court orders as follows. 1, seating and attendance in the Ada County courtroom. A, seating for victims, families of defendant, counsel, and other court personnel. Certain seating may be reserved for the court for designated individuals, including but not limited to authorized court personnel, security personnel, the defendant's family, statutory victims, and others specified by the presiding judge. Okay. Public seating, subject to the need for reserved seating referenced in 1A, seating for the public, including media, will be permitted in the courtroom as space permits pursuant to a reservation protocol established and administered by the trial court administration. No person may reserve seats except as indicated in 1A above. Standing attendance when open seating is unavailable will not be allowed. So if you can't get your butt in a seat, you can't be just standing in the courtroom. You know what I mean? Usually they'll have like court reporters like all lined up, you know, just like standing. Nope, not in his courtroom. He wants it clean. So who wants to tell half the creators, especially the one that's coming from across the ocean, that he might not want to come, because you know how many people are going to be in there for the actual media? It's going to take up the whole seating. Family, media. I have a feeling that no one else will get in there. Entry and exits during court proceedings. Exits, entrance. All spectators, including members of the media and the public, shall be seated before court is in session and during any portion of the trial. No entry or re-entry to the courtroom shall be permitted while court is in session. Man, that just kind of stinks, because sometimes you got to go to the bathroom. Number 2, other restrictions and requirements, broadcast of proceedings. So A, security screening. All persons entering the courtroom may be subject to additional security screening. Handbags, backpacks, and other carry-ins are subject to inspection. B, cell phones and other electronic devices in courtroom. Cell phone, tablets, laptops, or any other electronic devices shall be turned off or be in silent mode and shall not make any sound or create any distraction. Devices shall not be used to record, photograph, or transmit any sound, image, or video from the courtrooms used during the proceedings. Phones or other sounds, images, or video from the courtrooms used, Phones or other handheld devices capable of recording shall not be used to held out of pockets / purses while the court is in session. So keep your phones and all that in your purse and in your pocket. Laptops or tablets used for note-taking must have any recording capabilities disabled and are subject to inspection to ensure that such features have been deactivated, or to determine if recordings of audio or images have been taken in violation of this order. If the use of such electronic devices, such as a keyboard, are distracting, persons using keyboards may be reseated, and or such use may be prohibited by the court. Yeah, so no loud computers. But if that many people, if you have, so many people in there from the news media, they're going to be taking notes, even with the silent, one that's like kind of silent keyboard, you're going to still hear it. Like mine, you can still hear mine, and mine's very silent. So I don't know. So interviews and reporting. No media interviews or reporting shall be conducted inside the courtroom except for written reporting such as live tweeting. The public, including media, is also subject to administrative order, and gives the number, regarding conduct inside and outside the Ada County Courthouse. Such written reporting may be restricted or prohibited if it becomes distracting or for other good reason. Disruptive behavior. Any activity or behavior which is disruptive may result in removal from the courtroom. No person shall demonstratively react verbally or non-verbally to evidence or arguments, or otherwise attempt to convey opinions related to the case while the court is in session or jurors are present or could potentially see or hear the same. Further, no person attending court may wear or otherwise display anything or make statements verbally or non-verbally that in any way could be construed as conveying any message related to this case, or to any political or advocacy message that could be construed as relating to this case. We know what that means. You can't wear anything with the Idaho bill, whatever, on it, because, the bill that lets people, death in the electric chair. Don't wear stuff like that. Also, just, you're going to court, you know what I mean? Like, just be presentable. Like, I feel like they should not have to write this stuff out. Like, this should just be like, this is common sense, people. Persons violating this order may be removed and may be prohibited from further attendance. Streaming of court proceedings. Hearings that are open to the public will be streamed at, and it gives the streaming. And you can go to the Idaho Judicial website, and you can go to case something, I forget. But you can go there, and it'll take you to the live streaming. Or you just come to my channel. Any prior order related to the broadcasting of the jury trial in this matter is hereby rescinded. Okay. And welcome in, everybody that's coming in. Okay, I already read that, sorry. Any person violating the terms of any portion of this order may be removed temporarily and or permanently excluded, and any recordings or images violating the order may be seized and or deleted. In addition, the person in violation may be charged with contempt pursuant to Idaho Code Section 18-180 18-701. Trespass pursuant to Idaho Code Section 18-7008 and or others charges may be appropriate and may result in imprisonment and fines. So be on your best behavior. I mean, the judge shouldn't have to tell you guys like what, like tell you guys, like not you guys, but you know what I mean, tell these people what to wear, what not to wear. Like as an adult, I feel like you should just know that. Okay, sorry, I'm just like bothered. I'm like messing with my tooth and I shouldn't be. Okay. So I wanted to bring you guys over here now. So that was just the only document that came out. I'm gonna, now that I said that, I'm gonna go double check. Yeah, it is. There is, if you're just now joining us, there is a court hearing tomorrow, and we're going to go through here in a minute. We're going to go through what went over last time, what they went over, you know, in the last proceedings to get us ready for this proceeding. And I'm going to let you know what they're going to talk about in this proceeding as well. So, like I said, I will be streaming tomorrow. It'll be around 10:50, 11 o'clock. But I will be streaming, and then they did put out like that new document tonight that I just showed you. Sorry. And I want to go back to the last court hearing that they had that we were able to watch. It was a 2-day hearing, and I believe it was on 4/9 and 4/10. But I did put together a spreadsheet to show you like what's going to be, what happened in last hearing and what will be going on in this hearing. So we'll go to that. Also, I have a couple of videos I wanted to show you guys tonight that will get us all caught up for, you know, tomorrow's hearing. So on April 9th, 2025, Bryan Kohberger, charged with 2022 murders of 4 University of Idaho students, appeared in court for a motions hearing in Boise, Idaho, to determine what evidence would be admissible at his upcoming trial set to begin August 11th, 2025. The hearing was a part of a 2-day session focused on several key issues. And this is the issues they focused on. Evidence disputes. Prosecutors and Kohberger's defense argued over the admissibility of various pieces of evidence. The prosecution sought to include a selfie Kohberger took hours after the killings, claiming it showed his appearance, notably his bushy eyebrows. And that's matched the surviving roommate's description of the intruder. They also wanted to present Kohberger's Amazon purchase history, including a K-bar knife, sheath, and sharpener bought 8 months prior, and a black balaclava purchased 10 months before the murders, arguing these linked him to the crime scene where his DNA was found on a knife sheath. The defense sought to exclude this evidence along with a 2020 college essay Kohberger wrote on crime scene handling, which we went over that a while back, and I feel like we should go back. We should go over that again soon, because it was a lot, you know, to go over. A 911 call audio from surviving roommates and testimony from a roommate who saw a masked man, claiming it could unfairly prejudice the jury. Alternate suspect theory, which this one makes me mad. The defense claimed they uncovered a lead on a potential alternate suspect and were investigating, but no ruling was made on this point. She didn't even, Ann Taylor didn't even give us anything. She's like, we think we might have an alternate suspect. And then that was it. Like, you're going to have to give us a little more than that, right? You know what I mean? Like, we'll see. We'll see if they bring it back up. Family testimony. Prosecutors confirmed they plan to call Kohberger's relatives to testify, potentially about the knife purchase. I believe also that they'll probably, because his dad, you know, rode home with him, you know, all across the United States. What did they talk about that whole time? You know, it takes, 2-3 days to get across the United States like that by car. What were they talking about? What did Bryan talk to him about at 6:17 Bryan's time in the morning? It would have been, so if it was 6:17, it would have been what? 9? Because they're 3 hours difference up there. Or I don't know, in Washington. Yeah, 3 hours, I would say. Does he call his dad usually that early in the morning? Usually. They talked for 36 minutes the first call, and then he called 2 other times. I'm wondering. Because to me, looking as a person from the outside looking in, and I could be totally wrong on this. I mean, I really could, but it doesn't seem like they were like totally close, like really that close. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. He decided to go to school across the country from his family. I don't know. But family is going to be testifying. So it says the defense argued his family should be allowed to attend the trial for support as they have no interest in aiding the prosecution. Judge Stephen Hippler urged prosecutors to call family members early in the trial to allow them to attend afterwards, citing humanity, but deferred a final ruling. Autism and the death penalty. The defense argued Kohberger's autism spectrum disorder should bar him from the death penalty, claiming it could lead jurors to misinterpret his courtroom behavior as a lack of remorse. They also wanted to mention his diagnosis in the opening statements. Prosecutors opposed this, citing no legal precedent. Hippler took this matter under advisement for a written ruling. And they're not bringing that in. So 911 call and the roommate testimony. The defense and prosecution debated whether the jury should hear the 911 call made by the surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, placed roughly 8 hours after the murders. The defense argued the delay in calling was explained by the roommates' phone activity, while Hippler noted younger generations' reliance on social media for communication. He indicated he'd likely allow most of the call, but wanted to hear expected testimony from the roommates before ruling. They ended up redacting parts of the 911 call. That's what they're going to do. Other motions, over 170 legal filings were discussed, including debates over touch DNA, testimony, courtroom attendance, and whether the defense should argue Kohberger was framed. The defense also unsuccessfully sought to exclude a traffic stop video. Hippler made some rulings from the bench, but deferred others, including on the death penalty and discovery disputes for written orders. Judge Hippler emphasizes balancing a fair trial with public access, noting the complexity of the case. The hearing continued on April 10th with a pretrial hearing scheduled for May 15th, which is tomorrow. And then they had their secret hearing, but we don't know what they did in their little secret, their secret hearing there. So Megyn Kelly came out with a video. A couple of people did. She was one of them. And I thought we would go over it. Let me go over there. I say a lot, I think. Let me know if I do. I think I do. And thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it so much. If you guys don't mind, take a second, hit the like button. It really helps the video get out into the algorithm, and we could, we could use that. We could use that. I appreciate you guys being here.
Let's do.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was so loud. I'm sorry. That was so loud. I'll turn that up slowly. She was loud. Sorry.
Kohberger, Mark Eiglarz, because this was a big one. The allegations that Dateline and Keith Morrison, as their lead reporter on it, broke this past Friday are just stunning. And though I can't stand NBC, I like the crew at Dateline, so we're allowed to discuss them favorably. They got a lot of new exclusive details about this case as it barrels toward trial this summer. First of all, they revealed that, this is disturbing, that Kohberger allegedly, this is upsetting, carved the legs of Ethan Chapin. They described this murder of these 4 Idaho college students back in November of 2023. I always stumble on whether it was 23 or 22. It's been so long now. 22. That he went, the allegation that Bryan Kohberger went to this house, that he was casing the house, that he went by the house multiple times that night, including multiple times in the 3 a.m. hour. The murders happened in the 4 a.m. hour between like 4:06 and 4:19 a.m. That he went in through the sliding door of the second floor, which we knew, which is sort of the ground floor. That he went right upstairs, that the main target was not Kaylee Gonsalves, which is what some of us previously believed and had been told, but was Maddie Mogan, who was in bed with Kaylee. They were best friends and sleeping in the same bed. That it was Maddie Mogan. That unfortunately, Kaylee, who was there visiting, was collateral damage in the moment, that he killed the 2 of them, and that they believe that he then was spotted by Xana Kernodle, who was down 1 floor as he was leaving, that he went to kill her, did kill her in the hallway, that they fought, that she fought for her life, that then
I was thinking about this, and in my personal opinion, I think that they met more than likely either in the kitchen or in the hallway. If he did meet up, like wherever he met up with Xana, I think it was right in that area because he didn't. I mean, he gave her time, like he wasn't there while she was putting her bag in the kitchen. It doesn't look like. Do you know what I mean? Like from the pictures that we first got of inside the house, the bag was on the countertop where the sink was. It was like sitting behind it. And remember, they took a picture of it and then they moved it to that table. Oh, thanks, Ishi. Thank you for gifting out 5 memberships. Trina, Crocaholic, Darren, Pod, and MD Skins got them. Man, I can't even pronounce people's names tonight. And I also personally think, this is my humble opinion, and I personally think I have no evidence to support. Well, I kind of have a little bit of evidence to support it. I think that Kaylee was in her bedroom that night. There's a picture and I can pull it up. It looks like the bed is like turned over, but just like on one side, like she got out of bed. Also, Murphy was locked in her bedroom, according to the PCA. So there was nothing on the dog. In my opinion, I don't think that she would have locked Murphy in there and then went into Maddie's room and spent the night. Like you know what I mean? That doesn't make sense to me. It makes more sense like she and the dog were in her bedroom. Maddie was in her bedroom. Maybe the doors were open, crack, you know, so maybe they were talking through the hallway there. And, you know, maybe Kaylee got up because she heard a commotion and she could see that there was somebody in there that wasn't Maddie's boyfriend doing something. So that's when she ran over and she maybe shut the door, was like left Murphy in there. Maybe that's when she said there's someone here or there's some, you know, shut the door. And then that would have left Murphy in there, you know, unharmed. And then Kaylee could have ran into the room. I don't know. That's just what I personally thought, but let me know what you guys think. I mean, it could have been that they were sleeping together, but I just don't see her locking Murphy in the room. Especially, you know, there was boxes piled up in there. 11-month-old puppy. I mean, puppies chew. Puppies will chew the carpet. Puppies will chew the floor, just like if they're locked in a room. You know what I mean? Like they want to get out. Like, so I don't know.
Ethan Chapin was asleep and either slept through this. It was unclear to me exactly what the sequence was, but he then murdered Ethan Chapin with his knife and, quote, carved, and they make a point in the Dateline show of saying it was a carving, this young man's legs, which is just beyond sick. Then went to leave, bumped into the one surviving roommate, and she heard him say something to the effect of, "Don't worry, you'll be okay." And she just froze. He left, and immediately she and the other surviving roommate, who was down the hall or on a different floor, started texting. They knew immediately something terrible had happened. It was apparent to those two roommates who lived like that. Mm-hmm. They texted for the next couple of hours, and then the texting resumed. Very strange sequence of events there, but also pointing out that he had all these like bikini shots of girls around his campus and the Idaho campus on his phone, buxom girls in bikinis, was Googling Ted Bundy and stories about Ted Bundy, took a look-alike photo of himself looking like Ted Bundy, Mark. I mean, we can get into some more of the details, but the case against him, it's even stronger than we knew.
It's colossal. And what you just described will be the words flowing from the prosecutor's lips to establish that this crime was especially cold, calculated, and premeditated, CCP, which is one of the aggravators. The other one is hack, heinous, atrocious, and cruel. And that's why I predict that his attorneys will go to the nearest sports goods store and purchase knee pads and get down on their knees and beg for life as opposed to death.
Mm-hmm. We'll go through some of it in more detail. and let's be honest, we haven't heard as much from the defense. Dateline didn't really play up how the defense is going to handle each of these. They did feature Howard Bloom, who's on this show a lot, who is very fair to the defense. Not as fair as Bryan's fans want him to be, but I think he's very fair.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is simply, we haven't been given like a close-up preview of the defense and how they're going to argue all this. Here's Keith Morrison on...
And in their defense, each one of these search could be innocuous. Searching Ted Bundy doesn't make you a serial killer, and looking up certain things. But when you put it all together, I mean, again, he enjoys the presumption of innocence like anybody, but there's only one picture that emerges.
Yeah. I mean, it's not abnormal for young college-age men to have pictures of beautiful girls on their phone. It's also not unusual after this crime happened for any American to Google Idaho murders, which they found him doing. Like, that doesn't make you the killer. I certainly did it. Right. So like that, some of it is more innocuous, but some of it is
leaving your knife sheath with your DNA. That's problematic. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, deeply. And we got more on the car footage, his car on the night in question. Here is SOT 27.
This video, obtained exclusively by Dateline, shows a white car on King Road in Moscow, Idaho on November 13th, 2022. At the wheel, the state will allege, was Bryan Kohberger, making repeated passes near a house where minutes later, 4 students were stabbed to death.
Okay, and then there's more. They had on an FBI profiler named Greg Cooper, who spoke to a little bit more about this. Watch, SOT 28.
That same week, the week after the killings, Kohberger began viewing or saving on his phone photos, videos, and news updates about the murders. He did that at least 60 times. He was collecting everything, all the reporting about the incident.
It's very common. He's been watching all these things.
And last but not least, the Ted Bundy thing. Here's SOT 30.
In late December, 6 weeks after the murders of Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, records show Kohberger, a criminology student, was again on his phone playing a clip from a YouTube program called Ted Bundy, The Essence of a Psychopath.
My name is Ted Bundy.
Within 24 hours of that, 2 selfies. Kohberger dressed the same way Bundy is pictured on that program.
It's so creepy. It's just so creepy. Again, you can explain it away. Every single fact doesn't mean that he's guilty of anything, but you put it all together. It's not only bad for the defense, but it's so creepy and disturbing.
Does that even come in, though? The fact that he was Googling Ted Bundy and took a lookalike picture of himself as Ted Bundy?
I'd want to put that in. Are you kidding me? I think it goes to the weight, and you let the jury decide how much weight, if any, you're going to give it. You don't keep it out.
Well, on what ground is it relevant? He's interested. A lot of people are interested in true crime, in serial killers. I mean, I can see the defense actually keeping this out.
Thank you, Lord Mama.
I can see the defense not wanting it in for sure, because it doesn't help them. And I could see a judge saying, why should I exclude it? If I'm doing a 403 balancing, is it more prejudicial than probative? I don't know. I think there's value to it. I think you let the jury decide on this one.
It's not good. Okay, there's more. Weeks before the murders, he searched for dozens of photos of female students from both Washington State and University of Idaho. And pictures from some of these accounts were of friends or followers of the 3 female victims. They don't allege that they were of those 3 female victims. So that's interesting. He, in late September 2022, so this is 2 months before the murders, he was a PhD student at nearby Washington State University. He searched terms such as sociopathic traits in college student and pornography containing keywords drugged and sleeping. And, Mark, as far as we know, there was no sexual assault. I mean, honestly, I don't think there was time for a sexual assault. The murders took place in like over 12 minutes, 12 to like 18 minutes at the most, and he killed 4 people. But one does wonder, if he's searching that, whether he had some other plan, if he hadn't found Maddie Mogen in bed with another woman who he also had to kill. Like, what was he planning? In October 2022, he's getting closer to the murders. He searched, can psychopaths behave pro-socially, which is very disturbing. But the thing is, Mark, a lot of this, the defense is just going to say he was a PhD student in criminology. Of course, he was interested in Ted Bundy, the murders, and questions about psychopaths and sociopaths.
I mean, if you look at my Google searches, they probably look real incriminating. If I was on trial for, anything to do with anything with crime. I mean, we look up everything on this channel,
Absolutely. There's definitely going to be an explanation for every single thing, even the bizarre behavior of circling his vehicle around the crime scene. They're going to bring in, as soon as they possibly can, although the judge has made it a little bit difficult, that he suffers from autism, albeit mild, but maybe that's consistent with that type of behavior. They're going to explain away all the bizarre behavior. But, just like you can explain away slurred speech, you can explain away bloodshot eyes, you can explain somebody having difficulty driving. When you put all the pieces of the puzzle together, it equals DUI. And in this case, it equals a really abhorrent offense.
The K-bar knife, you mentioned that the knife sheath was left behind. Dateline speculated that it may have like fallen out in a struggle. It may have been in the context of that struggle that happened on the second floor. But my understanding was that they found that with the first two victims on the third floor, Maddie and Kaylee. So I'm not sure. Now it raised questions for me. Was the knife sheath found underneath one of the two girls and their bodies, or was it down on the floor beneath them with Ethan and Xana lost during a struggle? We'll find out more this summer when we hear actual testimony as opposed to speculations. But this was revealed prior to Dateline. We found out that after the murders, he had searched on Amazon for another K-bar knife, which is just shocking. And Howard Bloom broke that news here on the show. He talked to us about it. And I asked him, do you think he was looking for a replacement knife sheath so that if the cops came, he's like, that's not mine. And he said maybe, or maybe he wanted to commit more murder and he had disposed of the murder weapon and it worked so well. He was looking to do it again. Here is a little bit from the Dateline special on that knife, SOT 29.
After the murders, investigators discovered a sheath from a K-bar knife apparently left by the killer in one of the victims' beds. DNA found on that sheath has been linked to Bryan Kohberger. Dateline was the first to report that Kohberger bought a K-bar knife 7 months before the murders. And now we've obtained records showing that after the murders, Kohberger was back on Amazon looking at K-bars. He even clicked buy now and began the checkout process before exiting.
Okay, so that last part is interesting that he clicked buy now, because what Howard told us was that Ann Taylor, the lawyer, had initially suggested, that K-bar knife thing only came up in his Amazon because, like, if they hear you mention knife in the context of a conversation, they do targeted ads. And but if he clicked buy now, it's a different story.
Of course. And of the defense, obviously, you're not just going to go, all right, you got us. So there's going to be an argument. Likely, it's not going to be to challenge the effectiveness of DNA. They'll say, all right, it's DNA on there. But someone somewhere, and again, don't kill the messenger, wanted to frame him like the Mona Lisa and somehow got a hold of his DNA and somehow the sheath and put it there and wanting to frame him. Now, that would be an okay argument if there wasn't all this overwhelming other evidence supporting his guilt.
This July, there's a global summit of BRICS nations in Rio de Janeiro.
I think that's the end of it. I think this is her. Yeah, this is her just talking about her little thing at the end. That's just, I just wanted to get her input on some stuff, but she kind of says things weird, in a way. So I'm trying to think of exactly the way it was said in the PCA, but it was like someone said something to the effect of, like, it's going to be okay, I'm here to help you. And I think she was trying to slide that fact in there, but it came out kind of wrong. And so it was like, wait, what'd she just say? That's why I didn't stop it. I was just like, man, I think she just kind of messed up when she said that. But thank you, everybody, for gifting out all these memberships. My Lord, everyone's going to be a member tonight. And she's gorgeous. Did someone say she was in her 50s or something? I thought someone said that. If she is, shame on her for looking so damn good. So I don't know if the trial is going to be like on the actual like television, I know that they're going to like air it off of their own court site. So it'll be in the if you go under the Idaho Judicial Branch, it'll be like right under there. As soon as you get on like the judicial, I'll put the link in the chat. As soon as you get on here, if you just go to case number, go to Bryan Kohberger's case number, and then go to current case summary, or I'm sorry, watch hearing lives. It'll take you right there. So I'll put this in the chat. And then I'll be streaming also. Tomorrow he has a court hearing at 11 or 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. Is it 8 a.m. or 9 a.m.? It's 9. We're a 2 hours difference. We used to be 3 hours when he was with Judge John Judge. And now that he's down in Ada County, it's only 2 hours. Same state, different time zones. I'm not used to that. She's 54. Oh my gosh, is she? I'd probably kill to look that good at 54. I shouldn't have said that. That's not good to say when you're doing true crime, but Really? True crime? Look at you looking all good for 54 over there. Not like 54 is old, but Happy birthday, true crime. She was born in 1970. My good God, she looks great. She looks great. She looks excellent. She probably gets work done, maybe. I don't know if she does or not, but I'm just saying she looks great either way, What's her secret? If she does get work done, let me know. I'm not opposed. But she does look really good. And welcome in, everybody. And welcome in. Okay, I'm going to read over this article with you guys. It's just, I guess I could have told you the top alternate theory, Amazon searches, and a new tip. It's just what we learned in the latest hearing in the Idaho 4 case. So kind of what we were going over a minute ago. This came out April 9th because the court hearing was the last one that we were able to see was was April 9th. It seems like, I don't know, it seems like it wasn't that long ago, but I guess it was. And they did have that secret hearing they held, and we've been getting documents and things have been getting leaked out. So I guess that's probably why it seems like we've had more court hearings. But this is the last one that we'll have before Bryan actually starts jury trial or jury selection. They start that at the end of July. So this will be, as of right now anyway, as of tonight, unless they make one tomorrow, during the proceedings, then this will be the end of it, the end of the hearing. So a judge in Idaho is set to make decisions about what evidence can and cannot be submitted in the upcoming death penalty trial of Bryan Kohberger, who's accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students in November 2022. Kohberger faces 4 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin at an off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho. Not guilty pleas have been entered on his behalf. In a marathon hearing Wednesday, this is, an older article, Judge Hippler heard arguments from both sides about evidence that they think the jury should or should not see at Kohberger's trial, which is set to start in August. Issues at the heart of Wednesday's arguments include defense theories on alternate suspects, Kohberger's Amazon purchase history, and his autism spectrum disorder diagnosis. The judge made a few decisions during the hearing, but said he will issue final rulings on a collection of outstanding motions in written order soon. The parties are due back in the courtroom for a pretrial hearing May 15th. Here is what we learned from the nearly 8-hour hearing. And we listened to that hearing. A tip says they have the wrong guy, defense says. Lead defense attorney Ann Taylor said at the hearing that she's planning to call an expert witness who will say it's likely that 2 people committed the crime with 2 weapons. She didn't expand on the theory, but later said she's also chasing a lead on an alternate suspect. The lead was buried in thousands of tips collected by law enforcement that Taylor said she's still combing through. We came across a tip that would appear to be an alternate suspect, and we're trying to work through that as rapidly as we can, Taylor said. It was quite a surprise to come up with that. There's got to be more in there that I need to know were disclosed. The tip was brought up as Taylor argued that the judge should take the responsibility of the death penalty off the table for Kohberger because there's too much discovery that the defense team can't get through before the August trial. So since we can't do our job, can you take the death penalty off the table for our client? Please? Like, I mean, really? No wonder why Judge Hippler says the stuff he does. Kohberger's legal team has previously said it plans to present evidence of alternate perpetrators ahead of trial. On Wednesday, Hippler said he'll set a May deadline for the defense to present the evidence because waiting for it to come up at trial would be too late. So she has till tomorrow. Prosecutors can show the Amazon knife purchase at trial. State prosecutors are expected to present trial evidence that Kohberger's DNA was recovered on a knife she found on the bed next to Mogen's body at the crime scene. Judge Hippler said Wednesday over defense objections that the government can call an expert witness to testify about Amazon data they say reveals that Kohberger bought a knife with a sheath and a sharpener made by the same company as the sheath found at the crime scene. The expert can also address a product search for the same item soon after the murders. He also said the defense can make its own assertions to the jury that the online shopping data for the account, which Kohberger shared with others, could show the items were bought by someone else. The defense is entitled to challenge the data in terms of does it really show who bought it, what else did they buy, and what circumstances, Hippler said. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, where is it? If someone else bought it, what did they do with it? That's not something that that's not a one-time use knife and you're done with it. So you should, and the sharpener, you should be able to, have all that stuff. So the jury may not hear Bushy Eyebrow's description, but they will. One of the surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen, who said she saw a masked man wearing all black in the home around the time of the murders, described the intruder as having bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's defense team on Wednesday called her an unreliable witness, arguing prosecutors shouldn't be able to mention that description because Mortensen's recollection has been inconsistent, muddied by intoxication and post-event media exposure. Mortensen didn't initially mention the description until law enforcement asked her if she recalled anything about the person's eyebrows in her second police interview, defense attorney Elisa Massive said. I believe she said it in all of her interviews. Mortensen has also acknowledged to law enforcement that she had been drinking since the morning that day and has said she felt like she was in a dream state, frozen, shocked, fuzzy, and cloudy. Prosecutors have stressed the importance of Mortensen's testimony as the only living person to see the intruder. Mortensen is the only living individual who saw the person responsible for these 4 homicides, prosecutor Ashley Jennings said Wednesday. Her description of the male, including any characteristics, including bushy eyebrows, is relevant to the identity of the killer. It is prejudicial, but it's not unfair. The judge said he would have to think about it. The attorneys who debated what cell phone activity from Mortensen and the other surviving roommate, Bethany Funk, in the hours around the murder should come in at the trial. The defense, echoing previously court filings, said the judge should consider all the data that shows the two were on their phones for hours before they eventually called 911 just before noon, November 13th, 2022. The judge did not make a ruling, but said he wants to hear that the expected trial testimony from Mortensen and Funk. He also acknowledged that people in their age group use social media to communicate more than older generations, and that should be considered. My experience with that age group that has shown that where you or I might phone somebody, others might check out their social media to see where they're at or what they're doing. And so understanding how they're using those apps is important, Hippler said. The judge also said he'll likely allow the jury to hear most of the emotional 911 call Mortensen and Funk made with the other 2 friends who came over to help them with that morning. And he did rule on that. So Kohberger's autism spectrum disorder. The defense team wants to tell the jury that he has autism spectrum disorder during opening statements in the first phase of the trial, a condition they say will explain what might be perceived as odd behavior as he sits at the defense table. I mean, what else is he supposed to do other than just look straight ahead? Is he supposed to be doing this? I mean, like the whole time, he just sits there. He's cool. I mean, like, he's just sitting there. I don't know. I don't think that he has like a flat affect or anything. I mean, maybe he would if they would show pictures, then maybe he wouldn't show any emotion. And they're trying to muddy that with, an autism diagnosis. So aside from the flat affect, piercing stare, stiffness, holding still when emotional evidence or picture evidence comes in that a neurotypical person will react to, he will not react. And that is only because he has a physical disability that prevents a neurotypical reaction. It would be unfair for him to be judged for that given his disability. They're really trying, aren't they? Autism spectrum disorder is a neurological and developmental disorder that can affect how people interact with others, communicate, learn, and behave. He has an IQ of 140. Isn't it 140? I'm pretty sure. Autism spectrum disorder is a neurological and development disorder that can affect how people interact with others, learn, and behave. His diagnosis is expected to come into play during the penalty phase, should the jury convict him, but his lawyers say the panel needs the information to decide if he's guilty. Prosecutors disagree, and though the judge said he understood the defense's concern, he wasn't sure how to approach the issue given legal precedent. A jury is typically instructed only to consider evidence presented at trial and the credibility of witnesses who take the stand, which implies they shouldn't consider anything about Kohberger's demeanor at the defense table. His attorneys have repeatedly said it's unlikely that he'll take the stand in his own defense because of his diagnosis. That's not what it is. He couldn't even stand up and say he was not guilty. I mean, he's scared, I guess. The defense also said that Kohberger's autism diagnosis should disqualify him from the death penalty. He has no ability to understand and help us develop a case for him for mercy. Well, that's what y'all are getting paid for. He shouldn't have to do anything. I mean, like you're getting paid $200 an hour, Ann Taylor. You're supposed to be putting on a defense for him, right? Like he shouldn't have to go and roll in there with his own defense. Like, this is what I think we should go with. That's her job. She argued that his behavior in the courtroom could get him sentenced to death. This is important because of the impact the jurors assign and give tremendous weight to perceived remorse or the lack thereof. Prosecutors opposed the motion, pointing to a lack of legal precedent. Hippler said he'd take the matter under advisement and issue a written opinion. Kohberger wants his family at trial, but they might be witnesses. Kohberger wants his parents and 2 sisters in the courtroom for his capital trial, but prosecutors have said they may call some of them as witnesses. Man, the air in that courtroom is going to be so heavy. I mean, think about it. These 5 families, maybe more. I don't know if Dylan's parents will be in there, Bethany's parents, but 5 families are all going to be sitting in that courtroom at the same time for the first time. I hope they all have mercy for each other, Man. Steve, start growing out the facial hair. You look meaner with it. I mean, that's going to be something else, Like, imagine waiting in the line to go in and just say you're Jeff Kernodle and you're just happen to be standing behind Michael Kohberger. You know what I mean? Like, that would just be something, I would want to say something, but I probably wouldn't. I don't know. I probably wouldn't say anything, but I would want to. So he wants his family there. The state hasn't said who they plan to subpoena, but if the relatives are subpoenaed, they should not be allowed to sit in the courtroom listening to trial evidence until they take the stand. Something the defense has warned could prevent them from supporting Kohberger in court if they are called late in the trial. The presence of Kohberger's family in the courtroom could be an important signal to jurors that the suspect has a support system, at least a massive set. From the minute the trial begins, the court is going to study Mr. Kohberger, and they are going to figure out who is in the courtroom sitting behind him to support him. Well, we already know what they look like. I mean, hello. And who cares? He should have support. Noting the family has no desire to be used as witnesses against him. Well, they don't have a choice. Like, they don't have a choice. If they are subpoenaed to get on the stand, they have to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help them God. We all know. Raise your right hand. We all know. I hate that they keep saying that. So the judge asked prosecutors to consider humanity as they plan their case. He suggested any of Kohberger's relatives could be called early in the trial, which is expected to take at least 3 months, so they could sit in the courtroom for the majority of the proceedings after they've testified. I can only imagine the family of Mr. Kohberger is devastated by these things, Hippler said. I think their ability to be here to see the trial is important. I think so too. I think they should be there. Now, are they going to come and are they going to have their mask pulled up to their eyebrows again? Because, that's just hiding. Don't be hiding. Don't be hiding. No one needs to hide, especially if you're innocent, right? I don't know. Okay, so I wanted to play this for you. It's we haven't watched Law & Crime in a while, but it's Anjanette Levy. I like her. She goes over different details. It says leaked details, but they're Dateline details. But in the Bryan Kohberger case, and I figured we'd go over that. Ice cream. Look at that. I've really been wanting ice cream lately too. Oh man! But I did get me some chocolate cake. And welcome in ice cream. Kohberger. I do say Kohberger. I say it like that. Do you hear it? Do you hear it when I say it? There's like a place to go around here that's called Kohberger's. I need to go over there and take a picture. It'd be funny. Okay. Well, welcome in, everybody. So good to see you guys. If you guys don't mind, hit the like button. It really does help. And you guys are doing such a good job on hitting the like button. We have 86 likes. Oh, wow. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, before I hit play, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you there too. We're coming up on 20,000 subscribers, and it's going to be crazy once we hit there. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys so much. And I feel like this case has been probably like one of the biggest cases that we've covered on the channel. So it's like it's going for full circle because we're getting ready to go to trial,
Neighborhood minutes before 4 University of Idaho students were murdered. And a new report by Dateline reveals Bryan Kohberger's Google searches about pornography, serial killer Ted Bundy, and the possible intended target that morning. I go through the new information. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. Now, all I can say is wow about this new information that has been revealed by Dateline about the Bryan Kohberger case. Jury selection in Kohberger's death penalty case is scheduled to begin on July 30th. That's less than 3 months from now, and it's not that far off. With the trial that close, this trove of new information has come out, and it was aired, as I mentioned, on an episode of Dateline. It revealed Kohberger's Google searches for pornography, selfies he took of himself wearing all black, including hoodies, and searching several times over 3 months before and after the murders for serial killer Ted Bundy. Now, prosecutors could possibly use the searches for pornography about a woman being passed out to point to a possible motive. Dateline also revealed who investigators believed was the intended target that morning and the order in which the 4 students were killed. We'll talk more about that in a bit. It's actually something we've discussed here a few times on Crime Fix in the past. Kohberger's lawyers have said he maintains his innocence in the murders of Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle in the early morning hours of November 22nd, 2022. Now, prosecutors have said they linked Bryan Kohberger to the murders on King Road through a single source of DNA left on a K-bar knife sheath just like this one. That DNA left on the inner snap of the knife sheath. This knife sheath, the one's very similar to this one, was left next to Maddie Mogen's body on her bed. Kohberger was taken into custody at his parents' home in Pennsylvania on December 30th, 2022. Police have revealed in hearings that he was wearing a black hoodie and they feared he was destroying evidence. So they broke down the door of his parents' house, rushed in and took him into custody. Police said they could see Kohberger in his parents' kitchen using a drone with a video feed. Kohberger's lawyers have said his parents were zip-tied and Kohberger was taken into custody, and Kohberger, in his own kind of odd way, suggested to the officers that they get coffee sometime at a later date. Kohberger's lawyers have suggested that that is just one example of the way in which he lacks the ability to pick up on social cues because he has autism. But back to this new information that's come out. Kohberger was working on getting his PhD at Washington State University in Pullman, Washington. He left Pennsylvania for Washington in late June. He got his Washington driver's license on July 1st. Later in July, Bryan Kohberger went to a pool party in Moscow at the Grove Apartments. We've reported on that in the past. But Dateline reports Kohberger made some women there uncomfortable, including a married woman who had to signal to her husband to come over and intervene. A woman named Holly told Dateline that she exchanged numbers with Kohberger at that party. She said he later texted her about their shared interest in hiking. The text was oddly formal, she said. It read, "Hey, I am pretty sure we spoke about hiking trips yesterday. I really enjoyed that activity, so please let me know. Thanks." Holly told Dateline she got distracted and never responded. The following month, on August 16th, Dateline says Bryan Kohberger's cell phone records show he Googled Ted Bundy's name with a typo, and a paper written about Bundy by one of his professors entitled Ted Bundy on the Malignant Being, an Analysis of the Justificatory Discourse of a Serial Killer. Ted Bundy killed women in the 1970s. He went to college in Washington State and then moved east to Florida, killing 2 sorority sisters at the Chi Omega House in January of 1978. He was sentenced to death and executed in 1989. Ironically, Bryan Kohberger's mother had actually written to her local paper at the time opposing the death penalty for Ted Bundy, but that was before Bryan Kohberger was even born. That same day, on August 16th, Maddie Mogen had posted a photo on Instagram of her and her roommates. And that very same day, a noise complaint was called in to Moscow police for the house on King Road.
Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
Yeah. Classes started at the University of Idaho. Bryan Kohberger was pulled over less than 2 miles away from the King Road house. We've told you about that before. 5 days later, Dateline says Kohberger Googled, "When can a cop detain you?" Lately, I've been seeing some really amazing makeup trends on social media, but no matter the trend, I feel like there's always that one brand you last, from everyday basics to bold, expressive looks. And what I really
Now we got Thrive Cosmetics. Oh, don't buy from them. That is such a gimmick. Don't do it. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Bad. MLMs are bad.
searches. Now to the Google searches for pornography. Dateline says those searches included pornography related to passed out, forced, drugged, and sleeping. And remember when Ann Taylor recently asked Judge Hippler to bar prosecutors from using 2 words to describe Bryan Kohberger?
Our request is that the court not allow the state to label him in testimony as a psychopath or a sociopath, because any kind of testing is unreliable. That would relate to, or that would become problematic within the rules of evidence to do so, and the inflammatory nature of those kinds of labels would.
I'm not aware of any testing that has been done that has reached that conclusion. Am I missing something?
You are not missing anything. There has not been any testing. There has not been any labeling. This, again, is my opportunity to bring a preventative motion to protect Mr. Kohberger's constitutional rights.
We may now know why Ann Taylor made that request. Dateline reports that in late September, Kohberger Googled sociopathic traits in college students. And later in October, Kohberger Googled, "Can psychopaths behave prosocially?" Now, it's not clear if these searches were related to his coursework, himself, or something going on in class. Kohberger was certainly having a rough time adjusting to life at Washington State. He was a teaching assistant, and in early November, WSU faculty met with him about an improvement plan after he met a student at her car and gave her the creeps. After this, there were more visits to Moscow, with Kohberger's car pinging off the cell tower that covered the King Road house. That's something we've told you about many times, that an FBI analyst will testify that Kohberger's phone was in the area of the King Road house on 23 occasions from July until November 7th, 2022, and these visits were late at night. No one has ever said whether the car stopped near the house or not. Dateline also reports that investigators found several Instagram photos of female students from Washington State University and the University of Idaho on Kohberger's phone, and that some of those students were friends of and Instagram followers of Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana. Now, when it comes to the night of the murders, Dateline revealed investigators' theory about the intended target, and they also revealed details that only the killer would know. They believe Maddie Mogen was the target, but they don't know when she could have caught Kohberger's eye. They believe she was the target since the killer went to her room, but didn't expect Kaylee Gonsalves to be there, which threw off his plan. Dateline reports that investigators believe Xana Kernodle heard the loud struggle between Kaylee and the killer and went to check it out, but then the killer chased Xana to her bedroom where she fought for her life. And then Ethan Chapin, asleep or passed out in the bed, was killed with one knife strike to an artery and his lower legs carved in some way by the killer. Dateline quotes investigative sources as saying the killer sat down in a chair in Xana's room exhausted, leaving impressions from blood on the chair before leaving the house, walking past surviving roommate DM and speeding away, leaving the neighborhood. Later that morning, after 6 a.m., Dateline says Kohberger called a phone registered to his father 3 times, talking one time for at least 37 minutes. Then his phone showed he returned to Moscow for a time after 9 a.m., but then went home. Later that morning at 10:31 a.m., he snapped this selfie, giving a thumbs up in the bathroom mirror. We showed that photo to you nearly 2 months ago when prosecutors filed it in a motion. 3 days after the murders, Dateline reports that Kohberger Googled the University of Idaho murders for the first time and then Googled his own name. He followed news of the case, watching at least 60 items about it, including pieces on law and crime and other YouTube channels. He took more selfies in black hoodies and even watched a show in December on YouTube called Ted Bundy, The Essence of a Psychopath, and watched another show about the murders, comparing the murders to Ted Bundy with Kaylee and Maddie's photo on the thumbnail. So to talk about all of this, I want to bring in Josh Ritter.
Maybe we should watch that, The Essence of a Psychopath, or whatever they said. I'm curious, you know? And look at this guy. His hair is perfect.
Host of Courtroom Confidential on YouTube. He's a former prosecutor with the LADA's office and currently a defense attorney. Josh, what are your thoughts on the sheer amount of information that Dateline aired the other night? It just seems like an incredible amount of information to come out before trial, weeks before trial.
Yeah, it was wild. I was not expecting that at all. And as you continue to watch the Dateline episode, it kept on coming. It wasn't like they had a couple of brand new revelations. It seemed like the entire episode just was filled with really shocking and very detailed and what I would call kind of insider information on all of this. I mean, we received details even to the point of what they believe took place inside of that home. And to your point, I'm curious how much of this is information we're going to actually learn at trial and what of any of it might be admissible.
Yeah, I was wondering, will some of this even be admissible? Will some of it even be deemed to be relevant by the judge? I mean, there is talk about searches for pornography. I mean, I think that the state could present that as potential motive evidence. Why else would somebody go into a house with, and target one bedroom potentially in the middle of the night with a girl sleeping and passed out when there turned out to be 2 young women in there? I mean, that could be motive evidence. Or it could be something that comes in during the penalty phase. if they get to that point, if there's a guilty verdict. So these are all things that the judge is going to have to determine whether or not they're admissible in the first place. And then the selfies on top of that.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think you nailed it when it comes to the point of motive. Motive, in my view, has always been the biggest question mark that the prosecution is going to have to answer in this case, and that we haven't really heard much about. Here or there, we've heard that, perhaps he may have driven by the house previously, that maybe he had some overlap with the girls inside of the home from the community at his college. But it wasn't really clear as to why. Why was he targeting this house? Was there anyone in particular inside of that home that was the target? And you're right. I think a lot of what we're learning may provide insight into all of that. The idea of the pornography that he was looking at, was this some sort of fixation that he had? The idea that he was looking at and had saved and had a large cache of images on his phone that were taken of other young women that happened to have a connection to the girls inside the home. But
I wonder if any of these pictures were actually like physically taken by Bryan Kohberger, or if these were all images taken off the social media platforms and put onto his phone. Now, I will say, I believe Instagram, you can't do that. Like, you can't save the picture. Oh, uh-oh. Didn't know she had music all up on there. But yeah, you can't let me go to mine. Okay. So you can't save it. How do you save it? Edit, delete, I don't want to go my own, I guess. That wouldn't make sense. Yeah, you can't. You can add it to your favorites. You could save it like that. What does that mean? I don't want to do that. Okay. That just saves it to your camera on your Instagram. So I wonder if these were actually on his camera roll, or if they were on his Instagram roll, under where he could save pictures. I don't know. Or if he was he could screenshot them and then crop them, I guess, but that would just be weird. I mean, maybe he was getting them off of Facebook or something.
Nothing that I heard in that Dateline episode that still shows a direct.
But if he was taking them, that's a whole other can of worms. That's voyeurism and stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's that's serial killer shit. But if he's going around just taking pictures, that's kind of weird too.
Direct connection to any one of the girls inside of the home. But it was certainly much more information on that front, the issue of motive, than we've heard before now.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've repeatedly heard, and even Judge Hippler has said, the digital evidence doesn't show any connection between Kohberger and the victims. But this sounds like there's potentially a tangential connection if there are indeed photos of their friends and Instagram followers on Kohberger's phone. And so there was also mention of something we had reported a week or two ago, that the state has an expert that says that there was some anti-forensic wiping of something going on his work computer at WSU in the days before and after the homicides, which is very interesting. So if you're the prosecutor and you're sitting at home on Friday night watching Dateline, is this giving you heartburn? I mean, this is the biggest case of Bill Thompson's career. He's at the end of his career. He was supposed to be retiring. Is this giving you heartburn? I can't imagine with a non-dissemination order in place that he signed off on this, but maybe, who knows? We don't know how this stuff came out.
No, I think you are getting heartburn. I think you're throwing your TV dinner at the screen. You're very upset by this.
I don't think Ann Taylor's eating a TV dinner. You know what I mean? I don't think she's eating a TV dinner.
Because, and remember too, this case had come under such scrutiny for its media attention that they moved it all the way from upstate Moscow, Idaho down to Boise just to try to address the issues of the amount of attention that this case was getting. This is only going to exacerbate and accelerate all of that interest. And yes, if this is not privileged but private investigatory material that you had not released yourself, and that you have a very close-knit group of investigators and you know exactly who has access to this information, and you're making sure that that's not being disseminated, to then see perhaps that information itself, or second degree removed access to that information being put on television, I imagine they were probably very furious with it.
And the defense has to be furious as well.
Yeah, I mean, they are concerned with the public already convicting their client before a jury has been picked. That was their biggest concern when they asked for a change of venue. So the way that this Dateline episode came out, and I'm not trying to say that there was something about it that was unfair in the way that they presented the information, but the way that it all played out, it made the case for Bryan Kohberger, in my view, much more convincing. And so now you have to wonder if the people in that potential jury pool who have not, at my understanding, haven't even been sent a summons yet, if those people have seen this episode, I imagine that's going to be another difficulty during jury selection for them.
So if you're the defense, are you filing a motion today or in the next day? Because there's a pretrial conference scheduled for this week, the final pretrial conference scheduled for Thursday. Are you filing a motion about something having to do with this? I mean, this has got to come up on Thursday.
I can't imagine what that motion would be, but knowing this defense team, they are very litigious and they probably will file something. From the judge's perspective, too, he's got to be very upset. I mean, he's I thought, walked a very fine line and reasonably so in saying, I'm going to lift certain aspects of a gag order and certain things that are under seal because this is a public trial and we want some of this information released. But obviously, some of it is very closely guarded and central to the prosecution's case, and they don't want that information coming out so people don't prejudge it ahead of time. So yeah, I am sure that there are going to be some very difficult conversations at this next.
I don't think it's because of being prejudiced or whatever beforehand. I think that Bill Thompson wants to keep some of the evidence close to the vest or the chest or whatever you call it. People say it different ways, but because I think he wants these to come out at trial, I think he wants people to be surprised. I think he wants us to be able to just wait until August and be surprised with some of the stuff. I don't think all of it, because I mean, they are releasing a lot.
Conference hearing.
So let's talk a little bit about what was in there. We've got Bryan Kohberger, who's a criminology student, studying in Washington State, Googling about Ted Bundy, a prolific serial killer in the 1970s who started killing people when he was a college student in Washington State. Now, he had a professor who wrote a paper about Ted Bundy. So is this part of his studies? Was he looking to do something on Ted Bundy with part of his studies? We don't know. But it certainly doesn't look good. And then he's got this stuff. He's watching programs about Ted Bundy and he's wearing the black hoodie. And there's like that advertisement, the thumbnail for the Ted Bundy show, and Bundy in the thumbnail is wearing the black hoodie. And it almost kind of seems like, is he mimicking or trying to, idolize or, replicate Ted Bundy?
Yeah, and this all goes back to your previous point about motive. Again, I think that the prosecution is really going to need to present as much of that they can to the jury, because the jury is going to be wondering why. If you're accusing this man of committing these horrific crimes, what connection does he have to the victims? And maybe it is something like he was emulating or trying to be like someone that he, even a serial killer that he may have admired. Now, the defense obviously is going to say, what are you talking about? He's a criminology student. Of course, he's going to be studying these things. Of course, he's going to be Googling someone like Ted Bundy. It's part of his studies. And don't try to tell me that just because he's in a hoodie and a selfie that somehow that makes him a guilty man. But the prosecution is presenting this kind of case of tiny bits and a tapestry of information that hopefully convinces the jury to give them some idea as to why this man would commit this crime.
And, something that I can see now why they wanted his, phone information, Google searches suppressed. You've got him Googling about psychopathy, sociopaths. I mean, that could have been part of his studies too. But I'm sure the prosecution has a theory about that as well.
Yeah, again, what's so bizarre about this case, or there's many unique things about this case, but all of this, if it wasn't for him being a criminology student, I would say is far more powerful. If you just have a person who's in no way connected to the study of crimes, someone studying, someone Googling Ted Bundy or psychopathy, or how does a person who's a sociopath or psychopath behave normally in society. I mean, all of this is incredibly suspect stuff, unless you're given the background that that person is in fact studying for their PhD in criminology. So I imagine it will be admissible. I imagine the prosecution will ask for it because it does give some insights into what he was thinking in the days leading up to these murders. But if you're the defense, I think you're, pounding your fists on the table saying this is irrelevant. It really shows nothing. All it shows is that the man happened to have been studying criminology, and that's probably the point they're going to try to drive home to the jury.
And there's this other thing about,
I probably would, if I was the prosecution, I probably wouldn't even bring up the Ted Bundy stuff. Like, really, I mean, why? Or him watching, or him even really watching YouTube about the case. Everybody was at that time. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were all watching it. I'm on the other side of the country, and I was, we were all like watching it. So I don't think that would really prove anything.
Dateline said he's playing the Britney,
especially because he's going to school for criminology.
Spears song performed by somebody else, the Britney Spears song Criminal, where the lyrics are, he's a villain by the devil's law. He's a killer just for fun, fun, fun. That man's a snitch and unpredictable. He's got no conscience. He's got none.
Anjanette, you couldn't sing that out for us.
I don't even know if that comes into evidence. I mean, he's listening to a song on his phone. Is that even relevant?
Yeah, at some point, the judge, I think, is going to have to draw a line and say, listen, you can find a nefarious angle on nearly everything that might be on that phone, but that doesn't make it relevant. That doesn't make it admissible. So, if he's listening to one song in the midst of an entire playlist, probably not irrelevant. But if he's listening to one song repeatedly day after day, perhaps that does become more relevant. We don't know what the aspects are surrounding this particular song or his searches for Ted Bundy or everything else. But the judge is going to have to make he's going to have to make a call on a lot of this. But I imagine some of it will come in.
Also, does the stuff with the workmate, the office mate of his, the friend of his, the woman who lived in his apartment complex come in? That to me seems like it could be possibly aggravating evidence if this gets to a penalty phase where this woman, she actually had a crush on him. They worked together. They were friends. And then she suspected that he broke into her apartment and moved some stuff around. She asked him to install a security camera and he helped her do that. She then suspected maybe he had that on his phone. We don't know if that's true, but does that come in during the, trial phase? I'm not even sure that comes in.
The judge is always, with any piece of evidence, going to have to weigh its probative and prejudicial value. And here the prosecution is going to say, listen, this shows the type of person. This shows an MO. This shows internal desire to kind of control women, watch over women, be invasive of their privacy. But the defense is going to counter and say, "Are you kidding me? This has nothing to do with the crimes charged. This is several degrees removed." And all you're doing is putting my client's character on trial, which is not permissible. And so, again, I don't know where the judge will come out on something like this, but I imagine he might lean towards the idea that it's a little more prejudicial than it is probative.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens this week. They still have that non-dissemination order, but it seems like that thing's been thrown out the window right now. I reached out to both Ann Taylor and Bill Thompson to see if they had a comment on all of this, and they have not yet responded, and I don't think they will. Josh Ritter, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay. That's all I really had for you guys for tonight. I have so many other things we need to go through, but I was like, what did I save? I saved all kinds of stuff. Okay. So tomorrow there will be a motions hearing. It's going to be his last court hearing as of right now, his last court hearing before trial or jury selection. Jury selection is going to start on July 30th. And then court will start if all goes well with the jury selection, which it should go fine. I'm sure they can find 16 to 18 people to stand on the trial, alternates and then jurors. I'm sure they could find that. But I will be on tomorrow at around 11 or right before 11. It starts at 11. They're always late. So I'll probably come on right around 11 and I'll check, we'll check and see what's going on Twitter and, everything that's going on. We'll get ready for the court proceedings. I do have, I think, the thumbnail kind of ready. Pretty much. Yeah, it's ready. Okay, let's see. I'll let you know what the live count is. We need 20 more. That's all. 20 more. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. I'd love to have you subscribe. We're getting close to that, 20,000 subscribers, which is, it's just kind of, I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of crazy because we've been covering this case. You know what I mean? Like, we've covered so many other cases. I don't know how many. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to think about that many people being a true crime case, but I think our first year we did 49 cases. Second year, probably about the same. So, and then this year, I don't know how many. So we've done a lot on the channel, done a lot of, we've put out a lot of really good information and factual information. So I appreciate you guys all being here. He might be on time, he might be on time. You never know. Sometimes they just always seem like they're a little late, and I'm always like, where are they at? But, I'll put the thumbnail up either tonight or tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll do it in the morning so you guys will all see it. I have it ready for tonight, but yeah, maybe I'll wait till tomorrow to put it up. That way it'll alert you guys. But I will be on tomorrow, right around 10:45, 11. I'll maybe 10:45. We'll wake up and hang out and talk because, I usually don't do lives that early in the morning. And thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it so very much. I'm going to go back up in the chat a little bit. Working, but you'll be listening in. Is she okay? Have a good night, Trips. Oh, you're welcome, Kathy. Well, thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys all back tomorrow. And thank you for subscribing. Thanks for liking the video. Thank you for gifting all the memberships tonight. Oh my, and everything else that you guys have done. Let me go back. Mary Beth gifted 20 memberships, and then she gifted 20 more memberships, so 40 memberships. Chatty's been a member for 2 months. I love that. She gifted out 5 memberships for us. Lord Mama, $4.99 super sticker. Thank you. Ladybug gifted out 5 memberships. I gifted out 5 memberships. I didn't even see this. Oh, you just did it. I was about to say, oh my gosh, but 20 more memberships. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm humbled. I'm so humbled, guys. Thank you, guys. That's a lot of members. Now I got to do some members only lives. Got to do some members only stuff. Definitely will be doing a members giveaway by the end of this month. So be on the lookout for that. I want to figure out something to do. I don't know if I want to do gift cards like we've done before, or if I want to do actually like put together like something for you guys. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what you guys want. You probably would rather have the money than me probably put something cute together for you. I'm just trying to think, but thank you so much, Ishi. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. And I really do appreciate you guys being here. So I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. I love you. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up now. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now.